All right, college football week 0 is officially here. I did upload a season preview. We went through, I want to say like 125 teams, did depth chart, turnover, all of that. It's 19 hours, 42 minutes long. So throughout the week leading up to week 1, if you want to use that as a reference, we have depth chart graphics and all that. It's posted right up on the channel. Yeah, let's have a good one. We'll be live at 11 a.m. Eastern time, me, Scoop, and Moneyline Mac. If you want to hang out with us Saturday morning, football season's finally here. Let's do it. I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think this is going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. All right, let's start with the first game on the board. Rewind a week and a half ago. This one was sitting at 4. And by the way, I know these charts are ugly. The new API comes in tomorrow, so starting next week, these will look a lot cleaner. But yeah, rewind a week and a half ago. This number was sitting at 4. They raised limits to 3K. Looked like they took some Iowa State money, got all the way down to 2.5, but then the Kansas State minus 2.5 got bought up pretty quick. Went back up to 3.5, then back to 3. They've since raised the limits to 5K, 10K. It looks pretty set at a flat 3 here. So why don't we start off with the fact that Matt Campbell has not had problems with this Kansas State team in the past. Well, I should say he hasn't had problems covering the number because he lost a bunch of these. But Iowa State 8-2-1 against the spread in their last 11 matchups against Kansas State. So betting the clones against Kansas State has been a profitable decision to make in recent years. They won 29-21 last year. That was at home, although the final score of that game's a little bit misleading. We'll get into it in a second. What everyone's looking at here right off the bat is Iowa State struggled to stop the run last year, especially down the stretch. And Kansas State is a very, very strong rushing attack. I mean, Avery Johnson can run the ball. DJ Giddens is gone, but they bring back the other running back, Edwards. So we know Kansas State. Well, we shouldn't say we know, but Kansas State usually can hang your hat on them bringing a very strong rushing attack. And Iowa State struggled to defend the run down the stretch last year. So that's what a lot of people are looking at here. I mentioned down the stretch. In the last 7 games, Iowa State allowing 213 rushing yards per game, over 5.8 yards per carry, 44% success rate per rush. So that's concerning, opening up against Kansas State in that rushing attack when you were struggling to stop the run. But here's the thing. Iowa State was so injured at the linebacker position last year. I mean, remember, they lost one of their linebackers before the season started. They lost another one in week 1. So they were already down 2 linebackers. And then they lost a couple more throughout the season. So late in the year, Iowa State was pretty much on their a completely different unit in terms of linebackers. This year, not only are the injured pieces back and returning, but the pieces that were starting in their spot, they're back as well. So they're so deep at linebacker. It's almost the complete opposite of the situation Iowa State's defense was in last year when they played Kansas State. And we'll get to that game in a second. Iowa State was kind of lucky to win that game. We'll get to it in a second. But I want to point out, yes, Iowa State struggled to stop the run down the stretch last year. Have we completely forgotten who Matt Campbell is? I mean, they're posting a top 25 run defense every single year. We have 1 year where they lost like their top 4 linebackers, and all of a sudden Matt Campbell, and he got the defensive coordinator. They've forgotten how to coach a defense. They're bringing back all their linebackers. I am confident we're going to see Iowa State in the top 25, one of the strongest run defenses in the country, like we have every other year besides last year. So I'm confident in this Matt Campbell Iowa State defense coming into the season. And on top of that, we also have to mention that Kansas State may have some problems on the offensive line. Now, that's kind of a crazy statement to make because Kansas State always has an elite offensive line year after year. But they lose 3 starters from last year's offensive line. And one of the pieces they bring in, the transferred in from Ohio State that was supposed to start at left tackle, he's injured. He's not going to play. So, again, Kansas State is a very reliable program when it comes to the offensive line. I'm sure they're going to be fine. But the opener, 3 new starters, and one of the starters that's supposed to be there is hurt. I think Iowa State's going to be able to really put up a fight defensively. I think Kansas State's going to struggle to move the ball. Now, where it gets a little concerning for Iowa State is on the other side of the ball, the offense trying to move the ball against Kansas State's defense. Obviously, the lead story on this side would be the two missing wide receivers, Noel and Higgins, both drafted in the first. Actually, they both got drafted by the Texans in the second and third round. They had two superstar wide receivers who both had damn near 1,200 yards receiving apiece last year. Both of those pieces are gone. So obviously, when you lose two superstar NFL wide receivers like that, it's going to be the headline. Everyone's going to be talking about it. But the truth is, outside of those two superstar wide receivers, most of this offense is back. The offensive line is in pretty good shape. Obviously, Rocco Becht is back, a pretty reliable quarterback in the Big 12. Both RBs are back. And if we rewind to previous years with Matt Campbell, remember that Breece Hall, Brock Purdy team? I mean, that wasn't wide receiver centered. I mean, this is a coach that's shown us he can have a successful offense like this. He wants to run the football, and I think they're going to be successful with it this season. The problem is, I don't know about this matchup, because Kansas State's defense was really strong last year, and specifically, they were really strong up front. I mean, they were one of the best run defenses in college football last year, and they bring back most of their production in their front seven as well. So even though I do think this new look Iowa State offense, running back centered, offensive line centered, maybe a little bit more conservative without the NFL wide receivers, even though I do think that'll be successful, I think that'll work this year, I just don't like this matchup against Kansas State's defense. So I don't have a ton of faith in Iowa State offensively. And if you look at last year's matchup, I mean, like I said, Iowa State won the game 29-21, but it was only because they won the turnover battle 2-0. Iowa State really struggled to move the ball in that game. They scored 29 points, but they only averaged 4.1 yards per play. Success rate down at 28%. Now, Kansas State's success rate was low too, but they averaged over 6 yards per play. Kansas State just kept shooting themselves in the foot in that game. If you remember, they fumbled on like their own 25-yard line on the first play of the game, and then they fumbled again on their own 20-yard line early in the second quarter. So Kansas State basically handed Iowa State 14 free points early in that game. Other than that, Kansas State's defense was a nightmare for Iowa State's offense last year. So I'm not overly confident with Iowa State on the offensive side. Personally, I bet Iowa State plus 3.5. I would make this one 2.5. I do think Kansas State is the stronger team, but there's no way you can tell me that this should be 3.5 on a neutral. It looks like it's mostly at 3 right now, but you can still find a juice 3.5 out there if you look. So, yeah, I mean, probably just doing a little bit of gambling here. If this was a normal Saturday and I had a bunch of options, I'm not sure if I would have bet this, but I am on Iowa State plus 3.5 minus 118. Next game. Next up, we got Fresno State, Kansas. Rewind a week and a half ago, this one was sitting at a flat 13. They raised limits to 10K and immediately got hit with some Kansas money. Got bought up from 13 all the way to 14. Pretty much sitting at a soft 14 right now. I do see some strong 13.5s on the board. Pretty much hovering back and forth between those two right now. So Fresno State's got a brand new coach. It's an FCS guy, brand new OC with him, also an FCS guy. Brand new quarterback. EJ Warner's going to be under center for Fresno this year. I don't really feel too strongly about this game, but I had a guest on last night, Step on a Duck, and he went into detail about what his expectations are for Entz and Josh Davis's offense. It should look completely different. I'm going to play that clip.
We're going to see Entz have his fingerprint on the offense a tad, but it's the Josh Davis system. He comes in from the University of South Dakota. We're going to see a lot of run action. We're going to see some 12 personnel, which is common. If people don't know what that means, it means one running back, 2 tight ends. It's a number that they use in football to ascertain your personnel. We're going to see some 13 personnel. We're going to see 3 tight end sets. They want to play big on big. We're going to get the tight ends involved in the run game. We're going to play action off of it and take some deep shots with the tight ends. They have an athletic tight end room. And I think we're just going to go in there and see them play some keep away. We're going to see them control the clock. They're going to grind this game down and really truncate the amount of possessions, very similar to what the service academies do.
See the way he described that? I mean, we're talking completely different from the Jeff Tedford offenses we've seen from Fresno State in years past. Those were very quarterback-centered, Jake Hayner, Mikey Keene. I mean, this looks like, from what he was describing, it sounds like it's going to be completely different. And I like that for a number of reasons. Number one, when an offense plays like that, it's difficult to blow them out, right? They limit the number of possessions. They slow the game down. They play the field position battle. It's not easy to beat a team like that by 30 points. You just don't get the ball that often. And oftentimes you get the ball in bad field position. So that's number one. Number two, E.J. Warner. So E.J. Warner was looking like an emerging star at Temple 2 years ago. Last year, he transfers into Rice, and a lot of people were big on him, including myself. Rice basically asked him to go out there and be Peyton Manning, right? They put the whole offense on his shoulders. Go out there, drop back to pass 40 times a game, go be a superstar. It didn't work out. Rice offense really struggled last year. Now he transfers into Fresno, and from the sounds of it, it seems like he's going to have a completely different role here. And when you go from the role of drop back to pass 40 times and go win us a football game to be a game manager, we're going to run the football and control the clock, it takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback's shoulders. And based on the fact that I think people might have forgotten that E.J. Warner was pretty talented, is pretty talented, and we're kind of just blinded by the recency bias. We can't unsee the terrible year last year with Rice. I think he's going to be successful. So I grabbed the Fresno plus 14 at minus 115. I believe there was a 14.5 available at one point. I missed it. There was a 14.5 available actually. But I saw a plus 14 minus 115. I grabbed it. As of right now, you can still get that on DraftKings and Caesars. By the time you're watching this, though, I'm not sure. So, yeah, I'm on Fresno, plus 14, minus 115 next. Next up is Sam Houston State, Western Kentucky. If you rewind back to late July, there were 9.5s out there, but it's pretty much been sitting at 10 for most of August. When they increased the limits to 5K, we did see it jump up to 10.5 briefly. At the moment, it's pretty much a flat 10. You can find a juice 10.5 if you look. Not a ton of action on this one so far. Limits are still sitting at just 10K right now. So Sam Houston State's defense is completely gone. And I mean completely. This is a brand new team. Brand new coaching staff with Phil Longo. And I don't know how we can expect this defense to be good out of the gate. It's literally completely new. Every single starter. And if you don't know anything about Phil Longo, he's known for a fast-paced air raid type offense, which can be effective at times, but those types of offenses don't always put your defense in the best of positions, right? If the offense goes 3 and out and the defense has to come back on the field 45 seconds later, obviously that's a nightmare for a defense. So we're talking about a Sam Houston defense that's completely new. The coach they hired is offensively centered and runs a runs the wrong type of offense in terms of building a successful defense. And in the opener, they're on the road in Western Kentucky, where Tyson Helton year after year pumps out a top Conference USA offense. I know you look at what they've got this year, and they've got an FCS quarterback and a new OC, and you might say, oh, I'm a little hesitant there. New OC, FCS quarterback. But the thing is, those two guys came together in a package deal from Abilene Christian, and Maverick McIver, he's a 3-year starter, threw for over 3,800 yards last year. And I was doing some reading on the OC. Damn it, I didn't write his name down. The OC from Abilene Christian, that's now the OC for Western Kentucky. And I was just reading about his coaching style. He's a perfect marriage for Tyson Helton. I mean, we're talking about fast pace, outscore your opponent, throw the football, put up a lot of points. I felt like I was reading a description about Tyson Helton. So it seems like he brought in the perfect OC. You bring in a quarterback that's a 3-year starter. Yes, it's at the FCS level, but against a Sam Houston defense that's brand new, he's basically throwing against an FCS level defense. So I think everything here points towards Western Kentucky putting up a big number. Now, obviously, the market reflects that. We're talking about, 61.5. Western Kentucky's up to 10.5. So I didn't bet this one. The only way I would bet it would be some variation of Western Kentucky scoring a lot of points, whether it's the minus 10, whether it's an over 61.5. Now, I did have a guest on that was talking about Phil Longo's offense. He's tricky, and Western Kentucky's not a program known for its defense. So if you have faith in Phil Longo and his creativity, maybe you grab the over 61.5. He'll figure out a way to make some plays. But if I was to bet this game, it will be some variation of Western Kentucky scoring a lot of points. The minus 10, the over 61.5, maybe even a Western Kentucky team total over. Next. Last game I'm going to talk about, Stanford, Hawaii. This game was sitting at 2 for a couple weeks. When they jumped the limits up to 20K, they got hit on the Hawaii side pretty hard, went all the way up to 3, then immediately bought back down to 2.5, which is where, I mean, it's pretty much a flat 2.5 across the board right now. All right, so you guys already know what I'm about to say with this game. I placed a bet on it, but I kind of got fooled a little bit. That being said, it looks like my bet has a chance of closing well. I got Hawaii money line at -126. The problem is I bet Hawaii when I read an article saying Elijah Brown was going to start at quarterback for Stanford. That's a redshirt freshman. And when I read the article, I went and bet Hawaii money line at -126. The reason being, this Hawaii program, they brought in a new defensive coordinator last year. And I mean, we saw such a dramatic step forward from this defense. His name's Dennis Thurman, by the way, the new defensive coordinator. And in his first year as DC, Hawaii's defense looked significantly better. Not that they were an elite defense, but we saw Hawaii playing some defense. It's not really a program known for that. So his second year in the program, and they bring back playmakers on that defense. Actually, I think they're top 3 linebackers, I'm pretty sure, or 2 of their top 3 maybe. They bring back a couple safeties. They bring back pieces on the defensive line. They bring back a lot of their main tacklers. So the DC in his second year, a lot of production back. You got Stanford flying overseas to the islands to start a redshirt freshman quarterback. I was like, oh man, turnovers. Give me Hawaii to win. Now, after that, I have since learned that Stanford has named Galbranson as their starting quarterback. He comes from Oregon State. Not that he's good. I mean, he doesn't have the most successful looking career, but he's experienced. He's a 5th-year senior. So my angle of, oh, this kid's going to turn it over a bunch of times against these Hawaii playmakers on defense, that angle I was playing kind of doesn't exist if there's a 5th-year senior playing quarterback for Stanford. That being said, there's still a ton of questions to answer about this Stanford program. Keep in mind, Frank Wright's here for just 1 year. Like, it's already said he's only here for 1 year. So we're talking about an entire interim season for this Stanford team. Galbranson is a starting quarterback, and yes, he's experienced, but he's certainly not anything to fear. I don't mean that in an offensive way. I'm just saying he doesn't change my mind about the Hawaii defense. I still think they play well. On the offensive side, here's where I'm worried. Everyone is loving this new quarterback here at Hawaii, Micah Alejado. He's a redshirt freshman, 3-star, dual threat. We saw him twice last year, and he put up electric number. If you look at his stats, you're like, who the hell is this? He put up electric numbers. Here's the thing. When you take a closer look, the 2 times we saw Micah Alejado get playing time were against New Mexico and Utah State. If you didn't follow college football last year, that's 2 of the worst defenses in the country. And the Utah State game, I think it was, when he came in, Utah State was up 52-3. Alejado came in and was playing in garbage time, down 50 points. Like, okay, he put up some highlight reel plays. It was against the 3rd unit, down 50 points. So unlike a lot of people, I am not buying Alejado to just take the helm here at quarterback for Hawaii and everything to just be peaches and cream. That being said, Hawaii does bring back production on the offensive line. They bring back 3 starters. Actually, no, 4 starters if you count Spencer, because he started the last 4 games at center. So 3.5 starters, we'll say. They bring back both RBs. They bring back their leading 2 receivers. So there is production back around him. I think Hawaii hands the ball off, honestly, controls the clock, plays a little bit slower than we're used to seeing. So I am on Hawaii moneyline. I do think they get the win. I don't necessarily hate my bet. Like I said, it's looking like it might close well. But I don't know if I would have placed it if I knew Galbranson was going to be play quarterback. So I'm on Hawaii moneyline. I also wouldn't be mad at an under. You can get 50.5 right now. Let's have ourselves a great season. If you're on the text alert list, keep checking your text. I'm going to be sending bets out for week 1 almost immediately. If you're not on the text list and want to get on it, just go to KyleKirms.com. When you sign up for Sauce Network Plus, just enter your phone. There's a spot to enter your phone number. If you enter your phone number when you sign up, you automatically get added. So yeah, make sure you check your text for the week 1 bets coming, trying to beat these closing lines. Let's have a good one, man. Football.